She has to look after the kids, or make the kids, look after them, teach them, take them to school, etc., etc. Those are the
Yes.
roles, the so-called roles that we have been brought up with and grew up seeing. Now, how has generational discrepancies of our fathers and grandfathers influenced our perception of marriage? Because obviously, we take what we see from our parents, and we think that that is what marriage is, but you only know what it is when you experience it.
Yes, you will only know it once you are in it, and you realize that, wait a minute, um, I've actually been, and you actually feel bad and you feel guilty
Mm-hmm.
to say, I've actually been lied to. And when you start thinking
Yes.
about the fact that somebody has lied to you, and you start investigating who has lied to me, and you say, it's the very people that I trusted, which
Mm-hmm.
are my parents or my grandparents or my great grandparents. And then it starts messing up with one's own perspective of the whole thing. And it starts jostling up your own emotions as to why would they lie to me? Why didn't they tell me the truth? You know.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you say generational, let's look at also not just generational but traditional. Let's say firstly the definition of the word husband,
Mm-hmm.
which was something I was talking to a couple of people, and I always say, do you guys know what the word husband means? And people look at me with a blank stare, and they just want to give a roll off what they know. And I say, look it up in the dictionary. It says it's a manager, the manager of a farm. So this is somebody who actually is given the task to manage.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you cannot say that in the 21st century, you still want to be managing somebody else, whereas you yourself are having a problem managing your own behaviors and your own outlook in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when you come to the thing of saying, I'm going to manage my household, manage the household as an entity, but don't try and manage your partner.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try and control your partner. And that's where then I have a problem with the word husband, because now you try to control.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's just move to the next aspect of it, which comes into how is it that you feel as a human being that you need to be controlling another human being? And that comes into the aspect of, well, one, I paid Lobola.
Mm-hmm.
I what? I paid
Mm-hmm.
Lobola. You know, I did not gift. I did not ask for partnership and a relationship with my spouse's family. I paid. So you are expecting a product.
Yeah.
In the end of the day. And that then leads and feeds into the whole aspect of controlling and managing and being on top of everything and just being, this bull, just being the bull or the bully.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? There is this problem when it comes to Lobola, as seemed as a transaction, like you just going to the shop to pick up something that you like. You see it, even the way the Lobola negotiations are. It's like, okay, you see, I saw the flower, and now I'm coming to pick her up. It's like you're picking up something, a commodity, and you're purchasing it, and now you can do as you will with
And
that
you
so-called
will.
commodity.
Yes.
Speaking about that, religion and culture has definitely played a role in some people not wanting to get married. Like the prices of Lobola are ridiculous. How do we reach a common ground on that matter, especially when it comes to Lobola and the bride price?
Miriam, I want to say first,
Mm.
let's not say religion has dictated truth
Yeah.
or religion has, maybe it has influenced, but I would actually say people and their own whimsical desires has been the driving factor to the increases in the pricing. It has not been religion. It has not been tradition. The tradition has said, let us ask for partnership and family and bonding between the two families. It has not said, go out and give me everything that you have because my daughter has done A, B, C, and D.
Mm-hmm.
One of my father's lines when it came to Lobola, he would say, "Yeah, but our daughter is educated," and he said, "Well, are you saying that this young man has not been to school?"
Mm.
And that kind of like stumps everybody. So because now already he's put in equal footing there. And we're talking about somebody who was born in the 30s. He says, but wait a minute. If you are saying that this young lady has been to school, and what are you saying about this young man?
Mm-hmm.
He has not been to school. And we are talking, for instance, about people that have met in university, tertiary institutions. So they're already on an equal footing. Why do you want to now put a level of inequality there? Mm-hmm. It's not the tradition of Lobola, but it is the people that are sitting there that are just driving up the market or market price. Let's put it that way. They're looking at it as a JSE or a stock exchange type of thing. And sorry, just a bit of digression. Then you bring in somebody who has never even raised this young woman, Umalume from Pietfontein, for instance. Knows nothing about this young lady. And he is, because the oldest, and why is he there? Because he is one of the elders of the family. Mm-hmm. He has cultural knowledge of what's happened with such negotiations. Mm-hmm. But now he is driving his own agenda. Mm-hmm. He is driving his own agenda. On the other side, on the guy's side, because the price keeps going up, this poor guy says, well, I only had less than 10,000. And they're driving it up to 20,000. So he gets that feeling of vindictiveness, and that also adds to the thing of, but now I owe this person. I paid so much for this person. Mm-hmm. They're now going to be taking it out on their spouse, their friend. This is the person that they're going to marry, and they believe that, you know what, I'm going to marry my friend. But later, this friendship is broken because of that big pricing that was brought about.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, how should young men view marriage in this day and age?
As a partnership, as it always has supposed to be. That is why I said, in terms of religion, let's not put religion as a driving factor. It has always been a partnership. Let what God has brought together, let no man bring asunder. Mm-hmm. Isn't that what the scripture says? So it is supposed to be two people coming together as one. Man shall flee from his parents, so shall a woman, and they shall be one under the eyes of the Lord. That is what people should be striving for. Everything else becomes peripheral. Mm-hmm. It becomes secondary or even tertiary. I get married because I am in love with this woman. She comes with her family and her family bond. I should be respectful of that. And I should be thankful of that, you know what, she has a mother, she has a father, as I have a mother and I have a father, and she still has that bond with her parents, that emotional and psychological bond. But we have now becoming one person. So even our traditions are no longer going to be purely Lehlongwane traditions. There are going to be new traditions or variations that will no longer be my father's. Mm-hmm. For instance, in my own case, my father was a non-drinker. I drink. So what value am I still ascribing to the same set of values? No, I've changed. I've changed his norms and values. I'm bringing in a whole new thing. You could never have a bar in my father's house, but I would want to build a bar in my house because of people that or the line of work that I do, or the company that I keep. I'd like to have my friends coming over and having a braai and a dop, not a problem. Mm-hmm. But in my father's house, it's, hey, it wasn't supposed to be, and it wouldn't be. In my grandfather's house, definitely not. So we change as we go, we evolve, and we should be accommodating of those changes and managing those changes.
Yeah, definitely. And then another issue that we are facing at the moment is that of divorce. As the numbers continue to soar, this is actually becoming detrimental to the Black family. And we are seeing a lot of divorces amongst Black families, Black communities. So, how does it affect men and their ability to move on after a failed marriage? And also, how can we discuss this issue of divorce? I know back then, again, culturally, divorce was not an option. And even now, it should not be an option, because when you choose to come together, you're not thinking about divorcing your person. You're thinking about growing together as partners, growing together, raising families, and creating generations and generations. But now we have this issue of divorce.
Firstly, as I said, it was always there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that it was not as widely reported as it is now.
Yeah.
It was something that was shameful, something that was not spoken of within the Black community. But I remember growing up in Katlehong, there were a number of people, that would be getting divorced, and I'd hear my parents and say, "Oh, Usman Bani has also, they're getting a divorce," and I've seen it also within the Lehlongwane lineage, how it has gutted our family.
Mm-hmm.
It's really gutted our family. And it's just always been there, but we didn't have that exposure to social media as we have now, But it goes to the archives of the law libraries. You're going to find numerous cases of the Zaminis having divorced, and all the Black people having divorced. It's fortunately, it's pretty much like death and taxes. It has no color.
Mm-hmm.
It has no color. It's just a people thing. How do we deal with it? We deal with it with better communication. We deal with it with knowing, as you say, we're going in this for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
We can argue, we can fuss, and we can fight about you leave your teaspoon there, and I'm always one picking up, and etc., etc. But we're going to weather the storm together.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we should really be gunning for all the time. And somewhere along the line, we tend to get tired. We tend to get a little bit demotivated from having to say, but human being, how many times can I ask you to stop leaving dishes in the sink? How many times can I can I ask you to stop leaving your clothes lying around? That whole parenting aspect. There becomes the aspect where you are parenting or supervising another adult, and it's like, no, that's it. I don't want any more of this.
Yeah, we've got a long way to go. What advice would you give to the youngsters, the young generation out there? There are some who want to get married at a young age, and then there are those who are like, "Hey, bruh, take it from me, don't do it."
I'd also go with the second option. I'd go with the second option. Honestly speaking, I think there's a saying that we've coined as that. Life begins at 40. Everything else before then is a joke, or everything else before then is kind of like just preparing you for life. I'm turning 52 in a couple of days' time, in 2 days' time. Wow, my word, I am aging. And looking back, and I'd say I also rushed into it. I rushed into it because, one, I wanted to do my father proud. He got married at the same age. I got married and said, yes, this is the Lehlongwane tradition. We get married at the age of 30. No, don't. Get married when you're ready. Get married when you are ready. Have kids when you are ready. Don't do it because your friends did it. You're not running their race. Run or walk your race. Take it at your own pace. This is your life. You don't get a makeover or a do-over.
Mm-hmm.
And when it does break down, there are very, very few. We were just seeing now the number of divorces that are there, but there are very few that are amicable divorces.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few. A year and a half ago, Amazon, Jeff Bezos,
yes,
he gave his wife a huge settlement.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't entirely too upset about it. And, when you're looking at it from the point of an observer or for someone that's reading it from the media, you kind of like saying, well, he doesn't seem too upset about it, and he still carried on, and he still carried on making more millions, and right now he's the second richest man in the world. But he was okay with it. In everyday citizenry, it's not usually the case. It's not usually the case. People fight for the rug. People will fight for the car. People will fight for the teaspoon. People will fight for the most ridiculous things. And they will start attaching sentimental value to it. And they will forget why they got into the marriage in the first place. I mean, in that book that I wrote, How to Fight Appropriately, immediately I just open it out and I'm just lashing out, and I say, it's no wonder. I wonder why I married such a slag like you.
Mm.
That already says a lot about this character.
Yeah,
it already says a lot, and you kind of think, how do you mean? Why are you wondering how you married a slag? And you calling this woman a slag? How do you get to that point? How do you get to the point of having to call her such name? What happened? Let's go back and start looking there. Where did we start falling apart? Who? Not even who. How becomes a more important thing. Because once we start following the who, we're never going to stop. We're never, ever going to stop. It's always going to be, but when you said, no, you said, and then the spite comes in.
Mm-hmm.
And then the anger. And then ultimately it's the GBV. Oh my word, the GBV and the femicide. That is also something else.
Mm-hmm.
That is just something else. The GBV and the femicide, oh wow. It is far more heartbreaking than the divorce rate.
Yeah, definitely. And that is a topic for another day. It has to come down to expectations also, expectations versus reality. What do we expect out of a marriage? What do we want out of a marriage as well? What are we willing to give towards the marriage to ensure that it's success? Mathews?
So as you're talking about expectations, what we could also do, what I also say is that sit down with your partner, write it down, write a constitution, a Mr. and Mrs. Constitution. And this constitution, you don't have to call it a constitution, call it an agreement, so put it as a mural on the wall, put it as a calendar, or whatever. But have fun and be creative about it. And it's something that you both ascribe to and will live by. And even when your kids come into the picture, you will say, hey, listen, in here, first and foremost, is God. Then it is me and your mother, or it is me and your father. Mm-hmm. That's where we start. You are a product of the love that we have for each other. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And once people can kind of like say, but you know what? It also gives a person that sense of saying, hold on, maybe I'm the one that's breaking rule number 7 there. But, do you realize that we both seem to be stepping away from rule number 5. How do you go back and fix it? Because there's something that's tangible that we can actually look at and work at.
Mm-hmm.
Most of the
Mathews,
time,
I'm sorry I have to cut the interview, but we should definitely pick this up again, speaking about expectations versus reality, and delve into it a little bit deeper. But unfortunately, time is not on our side right now. Thank you so much for your time and for that conversation. And hopefully we'll get to hear from you soon. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Marion. And very soon I'm also releasing the second book of marriage, which is So You Just Got Divorced. I'll be releasing it sometime this month. So people can also just look out for it on Amazon.
All right. Awesome. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Miriam. Have a wonderful one. Goodbye.
Bye. That was author and life coach Mathews-Nkoboli-Lehlongwane talking to us about marriage, rather giving a deeper understanding of the perceptions and views of marriage by young Black men. It is 4 minutes after 12. To stay with us, we will be back after the break.
You are listening to Mariam Makwanda live on Salam Media.
As we look forward to our summer days, there are thousands of refugees in Afghanistan and Lebanon who will not survive their winter.
Africa.
You can change that by sponsoring an AMA Winter Rescue Kit for 3,500 rands. Contact Africa Muslims Agency now on 011 834 8685 or donate online at africamuslimsagency.co.za. Africa Muslims Agency, inspiring the spirit of giving.
What makes Randery Jewelers the optimum place for your memorable gift? Is it our range of exclusive, high-end, luxurious